This is easily the most portable espresso machine, but how good is the coffee that comes out of it? If you follow us on Instagram, then you know that this is the second time that we're shooting this entire video. Our main machine crashed mid-edit. In fact, we were actually at the tail end of the edit and ready for export. So we hope you appreciate the extra effort by showing us some extra love. Before we get started, this brewer was sent to us by WACACO to test and review. No money exchange hands, and they don't get to watch this before any of you do. Massive shout out to Benki Brewing Tools for helping get these products to us. If you're looking to buy coffee gear, then definitely check them out. The link is in the description below. WACACO is a Hong Kong-based company which is centered around creating products that help people make good coffee on the go, with a specific focus on espresso. The predecessors of the PicoPresso, both the Mini and the NanoPresso, were very innovative and very portable, but just felt a little bit like toys. They had several parts that felt a bit cheap and plasticky, including the filter basket, and the espresso just wasn't great. So when we heard about the PicoPresso, which claimed to fix all of the issues we had with the previous model, we were super excited. It's been out for a while now, but we're happy to have finally gotten our hands on it. So what do you say we dive right in and put it through its paces, ARAMSE style? Actually, one last thing. Our first ever crowdfunding campaign, the Coffee Journal, is fully funded, which is awesome, but that doesn't mean the campaign is done. With just a few days to go, you can still back and support this project. We're doing a very limited run of 350 journals, so book your copy soon. We're on a mission to send this piece of the Indian coffee story to cafes and homes all over the world, so head over to the link up here or in the description below and show us some love. Also, a massive thanks to everyone who's already backed this campaign. Okay, back to the review. At $130 save for the Caflano Compresso, this is the cheapest manual espresso maker with a proper non-pressurized metal basket when compared to offerings from Flair, Rock, Cafe Lat, and Uniterra. If we've missed one that's cheaper, then let us know in the description below. So, in our opinion, they've gotten the price right, but can it deliver on what it promises? The PicoPresso is smaller than a can of soda and is capable of brewing legit espresso at 6 to 9 bars of pressure in the palm of your hand. Let that sink in for a second. It's insane. If you thought the NanoPresso was small, this is even smaller. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's wild how tiny it is considering what it is and what it can do. It's prettier too, we think, and just feels really nice to use. The design is clean and understated with dull metal accents to give it some class and sophistication. Fitting a machine like this with multiple parts and materials into a pretty little package isn't an easy task and shows that some very talented people have spent a lot of time and effort to create this. And according to their website, the PicoPresso is a 2022 Red Dot Award winner, and they don't give these out easily. When it comes to build quality, the PicoPresso is a big step up from its older siblings. There's more metal all around, and the new grippy feel is excellent. With the right grip, the ergonomics are really good, even if you have smaller hands. The pump is more robust and has a nicer resistance to it. We've also not noticed the dreaded squeak that we had with the NanoPresso. But it's not all hunky-dory, and there is room for improvement. There's still a lot of plastic, and while most of it feels substantial, the lid definitely feels like a potential weak spot. It's the cheapest looking part made of thinner plastic and has a bit of flex to it, so we're a bit concerned about longevity here. It's a part that's screwed on tight and exposed to pressure, so we'll just have to get back to you on how it holds up over time. The chamber holds up to 100 grams of water, which is pretty decent and allows you to pull up to 60 to 70 grams out. Just beware that the outside gets pretty hot to the touch, almost uncomfortably so, especially if you preheat multiple times. The pump has been improved, like we just mentioned, but it is another plastic part that we wish was metal. On the bottom, things are more promising. There's a lot more metal here and is what gives the brewer a nice weight to it. The portafilter is well machined and the textured sides make it easier to grip. The shower screen is also metal and seems to do a good job of delivering water evenly onto the puck. The basket holds 18 grams, which is impressive for such a small device, and seems well made, but we're not fans of this tapered tiered design. For the price though, we're nitpicking. It performs just fine in most cases, but we'll get to its shortcomings a little later on, so stick around for that. The last thing that bothers us a little are the metal threads on the portafilter meeting the plastic ones on the body, which can easily get damaged if you accidentally cross-thread. So just be a little careful when screwing it on. As for accessories, no complaints here. The dosing funnel is well made and so useful. It even includes a little WD-T needle, although this one does a better job. Accessories like these show that this product was designed keeping the modern espresso workflow in mind. The tamper is nice and self-leveling. The depth is fixed, but we do a double tamp anyway, which we'll talk about when we pull a shot. The scoop is whatever, the brush is handy, the drip tray is a welcome addition, and the case is excellent. It is a bit tricky to aim perfectly and also keep this thing steady when pumping, so it would be really nice to see a proper stand as an optional accessory for folks who just want to use it at home. That being said, we found a really nice way to grip the PicoPresso to keep it very steady and use minimum effort, which we'll show you in a second when we actually pull a shot. Before we make some coffee, we have a tiny favor to ask. Tinier than the PicoPresso even. Please hit that like and subscribe button, only if you enjoy what we do. We hate to keep asking, but these videos take a ton of time, effort, and money, and YouTube is nice to us when people hit these buttons. Analytics show that only 30.3% of our viewers are subscribed, and we're really hoping to get that number up. Okay, back to the review. So none of the other stuff matters if the coffee isn't good. So what do you say we pull a shot and see what this thing is capable of? Fire up the kettle and set it to boil. Weigh out 18 grams of coffee and grind. Use the dosing ring to get the grounds into the basket without making a mess. Distribute using the WD-T tool. Tamp with the dosing ring on, then remove both. Now, we found that delivering a second even tamp without the dosing ring ensured that the puck is fully compacted. Place the shower screen on and screw the portafilter on tightly. Fill the top chamber with hot water, leave it there for 10 seconds, and dump to preheat. You can do this a couple of times if you're brewing more of a medium roast. Don't waste the preheat water, use it to cook or do something else with it. Then fill up the chamber with boiling hot brew water, screw the lid on tight, and you're ready to brew. Open the pump and give it 8 to 10 pumps at a rate of around 2 pumps a second, and wait for 10 seconds to pre-infuse and allow the puck to fully saturate. Like we mentioned earlier, this grip works really well for us. Then continue pumping at the same rate until you see the first drops fall. Then drop the pump rate to around 1 pump a second. Using a small mirror to see the naked basket can really help you analyze your shots. Now, there's no pressure gauge on this thing, so you need to develop a feel for what the right resistance is, and that comes with a bit of practice. Do full, steady pumps to keep the flow continuous, and if you have smart scales like the Akaya, then try to hit a flow rate of around 1 to 1.5 grams per second. Stop the shot when you hit your target weight and place it on the drip tray. Cleanup is also very straightforward. Run some cool water on the bottom, then unscrew it. Knock out the puck and give everything a good rinse. Open the top chamber and put any leftover water back in the kettle or use it somewhere else. Don't just dump it. Give it a few pumps to get rid of any residual water. Then wipe everything dry and reassemble, and you're good to go for the next time. As you can see, we've pulled a beautiful looking shot with lots of real crema. But before we talk about how it tastes, here are some tips and troubleshooting hacks. If your brews feel a bit under-extracted, then over and above doing multiple preheats, also make sure that the basket and shower screen are preheated. Number 2, if you're not feeling too much resistance and your shot is flowing too fast, then slow down the rate at which you're pumping to try and save the shot. Then subsequently grind finer for the next shot. If you've watched our video, The Art of Manual Espresso, linked up here, we talk about slamming the lever down to try and compress the puck to slow down the shot in a situation like this. This unfortunately doesn't work here as it's near impossible to pump fast enough to cause such a rapid pressure spike. Number 3, your shot is running too slowly and you're feeling too much resistance. Stop pumping for a few seconds, then resume at a steady rate. You should feel it ease up. Then subsequently grind coarser for the next shot. And lastly, if your shot is channeling, then give it a couple of quick, aggressive pumps, then wait a second and proceed. This won't always work, but can sometimes help heal a channel. Okay, let's start with the good news. If you enjoy medium and dark roasted coffee, you're gonna have a great time. The PicoPresso is very capable of brewing delicious espresso, and following some of the workflow tips we just shared will get you dialed in much quicker. The pressure delivery from the pump seems nice and consistent, producing shots that are sweet, balanced, with moderate clarity and really nice texture and body. Now things start to get tricky with lighter roasts, and we found ourselves struggling a little to get good extractions. even with multiple preheat cycles and preheating the basket and shower screen, the coffee still tasted sour and a tad under-extracted. The PicoPresso's brew chamber has pretty good heat insulation, giving it decent thermal stability, so the only reason we can think of is the basket. It really does seem like the Achilles heel of this brewer if you plan to brew very light roasts. The shape just doesn't help with even extractions and demands a coarser grind. We suspect that a well-made, straight-wall basket would go a long way in mitigating this issue by allowing you to grind finer and get more even extractions. This is all just speculation at this point, but we'll definitely try and get our hands on a third-party precision basket that fits so we can test this theory out. But for now, pulling longer ratios really helps and makes the PicoPresso quite usable except with the lightest of roasts, which, to be fair, are challenging no matter what machine you're brewing on. So who is the PicoPresso for? As you've seen, it's a very capable espresso machine, and you should definitely consider buying it if 1. You want legit espresso on a budget. 2. You own an espresso-capable grinder, which is very important. 3. You primarily drink medium and dark roasts. And 4. You need extreme portability. If, however, you're someone who craves precision and repeatability, then this is probably not the ideal device for you. The lack of a gauge, odd basket shape, and pump-style pressure delivery means that you're going to have to rely a lot on feel. And that may not scratch the nerd's itch, if you know what I mean. So it's taken them a few tries, but we're glad they stuck with it because they've created something special. Don't get me wrong, it has its flaws and the espresso isn't going to blow your mind. But for what it is, at this price and this size, it's pretty damn amazing and gets a big thumbs up from us. With this upgrade, WACACO is now playing in the big leagues with the likes of Flair and Cafe Latte, and with a few tweaks like a gauge, better basket, and a little more metal all around, things could get very serious. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Now we'd love to hear from you. Have you used the PicoPresso? Has your experience been similar to ours? And do you have any questions? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and brew ARAMSE.